this way. Okay. Okay. All right. So, sorry for the mishaps. Thank you for coming, and thanks to those who are not here yet, but will see this on the video. Today we're going to talk about the Hoop House and how it's going to be a good business for the university and to add to the diversification of the student-run businesses. I'd first like to introduce everybody. I'm Andrew Baker, and
I'm Erin Mott.
Okay. Katie Milo is not here today.
I'm Jennifer Morgan.
May performare.
And so Sylvia.
Okay. And Sandeep Parsamati is also unavailable to come today. But these are some of the people. These and the other two are some of the people that were really instrumental in helping to start the Hoop House. Thanks. Okay. The mission of the Hoop House is to produce healthy, fresh, natural vegetables for the University of Findlay community and the surrounding area using economical and sustainable practices. And we're going to do this by building a greenhouse and all the other benefits that I believe Swaroop will talk about. The main goals of the Hoop House is to provide fresh vegetables and fruits to the university and surrounding area, provide meaningful employment for the students in something that they can do on their own in the future or perhaps a separate business. Provide exposure to sustainable practices in Hoop House farming, and in the future to provide scholarships to students, specifically undergraduates. In the produce competition in the area, there are three main competitors. There's Walmart, there's Meijer, there's Great Scott, and there's Kroger. I misspoke, there's four. We did a little price comparison between some of the Meijer's regular, Meijer's organic produce, Great Scott regular and Great Scott organic produce, and we came up with our projected prices for some very common produce. And there's very good competition in the area, but we feel that the greenhouse is going to provide something that these people cannot. They provide massive bulk, shipped out from California, but nobody provides local produce that can be delivered, that's fresh, year-round, chemical-free, which is important. And what's nice is that because of all this, you can charge higher than a regular produce, but you still are less than organic. So it's going to be a nice price range for many people.
May we ask a question?
Yeah.
Are these sales envisioned to the community or to Sodexo?
This specific price is to community. The Sodexo price, I don't know if we have it worked out or not. Not quite.
Completely,
Not
but it will be above what they're normally paying.
Yeah, not quite yet, but we're getting there. A little bit about the history of the Hoop House and how this all came about. This is the Hoop House on right next to the Great Scott on Broad Avenue. And this was taken a week ago, and number one, as you can see, it survived all the winter storms. It survived the straight line winds in June and July in the summer. So it's a strong structure, first of all. And the person who runs the Hoop House over here at Great Scott is Mr. Benji Vollmer. And Dr. Reed and Mr. Vollmer came together, talked about, well, what about could students come work at this hoop house is for part of a student work activity, and that transformed into he's having, they're having great success here. They're providing produce to the store, to the community, to CSA accounts, which someone will talk about later. They said, okay, well, they're having great success. Well, why not we just do that do the same business model, move it to Findlay? So it changed the campus, and there's lots of meetings with Dr. Reed, Mr. Ballmer, Tad Peterson, who's our expert, Ms. Wolper, and many others about business and so forth, to move things forward. Graduate and undergraduate students helped greatly to put together the proposal, and after we had the proposal put together, we looked to see if there was any actual interest in this. And we had a student panel in November, and the students had just overwhelming interest and enthusiasm. I was greatly surprised at how enthusiastic they were to have fresh local vegetables. Additionally, there was a survey put out by Dr. Reed, and 141 faculty members replied favorably that they would be willing to, yes, they wanted they wanted fresh chemical-free produce, and that they were willing to pay a premium price for it. So that's a little history of the Hoop House, and next, talking to Swaroop about the overview of what the Hoop House is and what it can do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for sparing your time and coming here. So, in the present scenario, people are craving for natural, nutrient-packed vegetables which are organic. So, in order to fulfill their desires, we have come up with this hoop house concept. So our motto is to generate chemical-free vegetables and to enhance sustainability on the campus. Findlay Green Campus, in its quest to realize the dream of achieving chemical-free homegrown vegetables, has come up with this hoop house concept. So, the construction part. It normally doesn't really need expensive construction materials. It just needs plastics and metal structure to support the beams. And it is fitted with temperature regulators. In the summer, when the temperature is hot, the hoop house raises itself in order to regulate the heat. And in the winter, it closes itself to retain the heat. So, the construction materials doesn't require costly equipment, but the profits can be significantly high. So these are the vegetables we're gonna cultivate there. And the other important thing is the vegetable can be cultivated throughout the year, irrespective of the seasons. Just Andrew showed us the structure. It's quite strong enough to withstand any kind of natural calamities. So our cultivation emphasizes on organic farming, and practices are designed to encourage soil and water conservation and to reduce pollution, which is obviously the need of the hour. So as I said before, our desire is to bring these chemical-free vegetables within the reach of university students and faculty members. Students are, their schedule is very tight. They can't go and buy their vegetables, so we just want them to provide with the vegetables inside the campus. So, as you said, we are hopeful that we're going to cater to the needs in the near future. So, thank you.
I have a quick question while you're in it. How are you going to get the vegetables to the students on campus?
We are cultivating right there, and we have Anderson and the Cape. It's a restaurant,
Right.
so people can our students can go and buy it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, and thanks for coming. Once again, my name is Ekpe von Morin. I'm here to present the propose a management structure of the Hope House. So, like Andrew has said before, this project is going to create employment opportunities to students on campus. So it's one thing to set up a business, but it's some other thing to, manage the business. So the key to business sustainability is effective management. So we wouldn't want to do something today that if we graduate at the end of the day, it will close down. So that is why we sat down and we came up with this management model that consists of 12 student workers, that we're looking forward to have 3 managers that will supervise and organize and put up reports to the university and the Finley Green Campus Initiative. So also we're looking forward to have an accountant, student accountant, that will monitor the cash flow, the expenses, and how much profit are we making, are we going the right track, and some other stuff. Then also monitor the working hours of everybody that are going to work in the Hope House. But we want it to be like, before you can work in the Hope House, you have to undergo some kind of training, because basically most of us, we don't have the gardening concept and the training. And also the employment process, everybody that is going to work here, they have to go through the university employment process. So if we have these people working in the Hope House, we'll be able to, report to the university, and also because the business is going to be overseen by Finley Green Campus Initiative, because most of their projects are towards environmental sustainability. So they are into green and clean programs. So we believe if we have this support group, that we can always fall back to them to get advice. Example, Dr. Reed, he knows much more than us about the Hope House. He's the co-chair of the Finley Green Campus Initiative, so we can always go to him to seek and to get advice. And also Paula Whooper is the director of the Euler Enterprises. Being that the business is going to be owned by the university, so we're looking for a medium that we can always communicate, to the school, to let them know what is happening in the Hope House. Then thirdly is Ty Peterson. He's the one that is going to construct the Hope House. So we might have some challenges at the initial stage. So we are looking forward to keeping this cordial relationship with him, and he's going to assist us in training everybody that is going to be employed to work in the Hope House. Then finally on the list is Benji Bowman. He has a Hope House somewhere in Finley, so he has been in the business for like a year. He knows what it takes, to keep the Hope House running. And we know one thing in business, that ambiguity is eminent. So we're looking forward to somebody that we can always, run to get ideas and suggestions on things to do. So in this context, it's going to act as, our consultant, somebody that we can always go to, get ideas from. So we believe that if we follow this approach and model, that the goals and objectives of the Hope House will be attained. So, please, any comment or question?
Who is Tad Peterson? I mean, what does he do, or where is he located, or?
He's the engineer that is going to oversee the construction. He has been doing this for years. So he's the one that is going to put together the structure for us.
He has a degree in environmental farming from Michigan State, and he owns several hoop houses in Michigan and has constructed many of these, and will be constructing this for the hoop house, as well as providing the initial seedlings as well.
And
Does he live
training.
up in Michigan?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
We just have a few more loose ends to tie up, and then we'll get into the part that you probably really want to hear about, which is the finances. So the first up is the location of the hoop house. Right now, we plan to be located on Folk Avenue, However, this is not set in stone because of the football stadium. So we're working closely with the physical plant to find the proper location for our hoop house. It is a very movable structure, so once we put it up, if we find that another place opens up that would be more convenient for student workers or more convenient for the actual hoop house, then we can move it if necessary. And the marketing side of things, we believe that these chemical-free vegetables pretty much market themselves. However, we are willing to put a little bit of effort into this. We will be making portable signs that will stand in front of the hoop house and will also travel with us to the farmers markets. We also plan to utilize Facebook and Twitter, the free social media sites that will get to our target audience, which is the University of Findlay students, the easiest and most cost effectively. As Andrew mentioned, we will be doing community-supported agriculture showers. This is a program where people will invest in a certain amount of money into our company, and they will be getting each week a basket of the produce that we produce. So finally, I will hand it over to Jen to give you the financial information.
This pro forma that I'll be speaking from can be found in your binders in one piece, as I have it broke out here a little bit to fit on the slides. As far as our financial plan goes, we have split our profits and costs into the 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, because we feel that as the seasons change, so will the type of produce that we can grow, as will the length of the season, so we'll have different profits to go along with that. Also, as we get more recognition in the community, we will probably increase our sales. Our sales for the year, we have estimated based on Benji Bulmer's profits from the Broad Avenue Hoop House. His hoop house is twice the size of ours, so we cut his profits in half and then brought them down a little more to give us some room for growing. And with we will be selling to the CSAs that Aaron just spoke about, Sodexo to use in the student dining hall in Henderson or the Cave or their to-go meals or however they wish to use it. And also through individual sales to faculty, staff, and students that walk into the hoop house. And with all of our profits for the year, we think we will come up with a gross profit of around $17,360. However, of course, we have costs associated. Yes?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if your gross profit is equal to your net sales, that assumes you have no cost of goods sold, so you have no
The next.
cost associated with producing the product.
All of our costs I will get to in a second.
Okay.
We might have the wrong wording on there for that, but
All right.
that's our gross, and then our net would be later. So cost-wise, we of course have our student workers, who we have estimated at about 35 hours per week amongst all of them, not per worker, and about $7.95 an hour because that's minimum wage. Our accountant, we're expecting to get about 2 hours per week over the course of the entire year, so we split that up evenly between the 4 seasons. And our marketing, fertilizer, equipment, and plastic food containers costs will all be one-time expenses, so we've lumped all those into the spring quarter. Plant sets we think will cost about $125 per season. And with all of those expenses, we come up with a yearly cost of $13,829. This gives us a year's profit of $3,531, which after removing Findlay's indirect administrative 15%, we are left with about $3,000 in the black, sorry, in the green. Oh, Lord, I can call it that too. So as you can see, while our tomatoes and beets may be red, our profit sure isn't. However, for us to get here, we will need a little bit of help from you. We are estimating that our initial cost will be between $18,000 and $19,000. That's $13,200 for the building materials to put up the hoop house, about $1,800 to pay Tad Peterson to help us because he will be an immense help, and then additional money will be used to cover our startup costs like a computer for the accountant, QuickBooks, any of our equipment. So that puts us at around $18,000, and we're asking $15,000 from you, with the rest is promised to us from Findlay Green Campus Initiative to help us out. So with everything that we've said here today, I would like to thank you guys once again for making it here during spring break, and I'd like to open up the floor to any additional questions you may have.
Who are you going to purchase the building from? Is it a particular person, or is it out on the internet?
Right, everything that we're gonna come in pieces, and we're hoping to get it put up during the school year still, so we can have student volunteers to help put up. It's just basically metal and
Yeah, Tad Peterson. He deals with somebody. I don't know what the
He
company
It's gonna
is.
be like a kit.
Himself.
We're gonna get a kit from Tad,
build your own.
like a build your own hoop house sort of kit, and then
So he's like a reseller of,
we'll have student volunteers that go up until it's finished or until summer break.
Mhm.
That'll go and help put up the hoop house.
And total construction should be about 3 or 4 days. It's not. It doesn't take months to construct.
So once we get the snow out of the way.
Yeah, that one's.
If we ever get the snow out of the way.
well, but you said great, the hoop house that you're modeling this after from Great Scott,
Mhm.
They utilize it now? They utilize
I took that picture last Friday, and it was 35 degrees outside, and it was I stepped inside, and it was about 85 and muggy inside.
But they were growing vegetables
Mhm.
there? They're growing?
Mhm.
So they utilize some of those for their own stores then?
Yeah, I have no idea what the ratio is, but he splits it up between his store and some community-supported agriculture and some direct sales through farmers markets in the spring. If there's any other way, I don't know.
They also
Restaurants?
give quite a bit of it away
Huh.
to,
Local food things?
yes, the local.
So does Benji work for Great Scott, or is he an independent business person who
He
just
works-
sells his product to Great
He,
Scott?
I believe he has another title within Great Scott. This has just been his project for Great Scott
Okay.
and trying to bring in more sustainable farming in the area and to provide local produce.
Okay, all right. And do you have any sense of whether he's able to satisfy the complete need of Great Scott for this local organic produce?
They
Or would-
only have it in the one store.
And does he produce enough of it for that one channel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not likely that you would be selling product to Great Scott
No.
to
No.
supplement his output.
No, and they still order produce from other places. They can't grow everything there, but
Right.
I think I'm under the impression that they use everything that they produce, and then they still have to buy more because they're just more demand than there is a supply right now, the local supply.
Right. Now, how big is this hoop house?
On Great Scott, it's 90 by 30. Here it is 26 by 40.
Ours is
Uh,
about half the size.
It's the measurements are in the proposal.
Okay.
It's 20. It's either 20 by 46 or 26 by 40.
And
26.
And how many different vegetables do you anticipate growing at any one time in that space?
Summer is going to have the most variety, and I think once we get down to winter, it's going to be mostly salad greens, which were the most profitable per pound. I would I would say about 8 at any one time.
8 different kinds
I would-
of vegetables.
I think at least 8.
And that is something that Tad is going to know. He has everything mapped out. Okay, this is what you have to do. This is how you roll from season to season. Spinach has a 56-day from start to finish. Okay, then on day 56, 57, you redo the soil. Day 58, you plant something else. So he has it maximized. We don't know what that is. That's part of the fee that we pay, is that we get the knowledge. So
And that'll be part of the employee training as well.
yeah, I think the most important part, but that's my opinion.
And you believe Sodexo will purchase?
They have already
There's a
made a
tentative
commitment
plan.
to us.
I know the students would like that a lot, having stuff in Henderson that's not already browned over sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, you've seen
Less preservatives.
what's today, March 5th, and you've seen tomatoes in the store, and just they're very lackluster.
Well, they look great, but they don't taste like.
Yeah, they don't. They taste kind of like cardboard.
Yeah. Now, you ought to think about your potential for selling to people who come to the football games, you know.
Set up a stand in front of the football stadium.
That would be
I mean,
interesting.
because you have,
We had not thought of yet.
fairly large number of folks coming together.
And even a small percentage would be
Yeah.
pretty
and,
good.
And I really think you ought, this is from a consumer's point of view now, not an investor's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really ought to try to figure out how you can display these vegetables to be beautiful.
Mm.
Because, you know, people will be attracted to them, obviously,
Mm.
and they're more willing to pay a higher price if they just look
Right.
gorgeous.
Right.
Well, I would encourage you to go to as many farm markets as you can and look how they're marketing, you know, nice little baskets and nice little, you know, carrying bags or something like that. It's very attractive to
Yeah,
guys.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, and see who's doing the best job. at the farm.
That's a good thought. Something that we had not thought of yet.
Mhm.
And we also have some restaurants in the summer have tentatively said they would be interested, because that will be the 1 month we'll probably have to go, or the few months we'll have to go off the college campus
Right.
a little bit more in the summertime.
Well, we used to have a restaurant downtown Findlay, and they, you know, their appeal was that they used local produce.
Oh.
And depending their menu for, you know, Saturday evening was their signature meal or night. It was whatever was in season, and they would, you know, that would be part of their menu. And I'm certain that they would embrace the university and the students as our local restaurateurs. That they would embrace the university, and so. You know, I would reach out to the Downtown Findlay Association. It's a good place to start right there. They're locally owned. They understand the plight of the local business owner, how, you know, with the startup, and they could give you some tips.
Mm. And one of the kind of aims is to get high quality food at below that premium price. You know, to kind of get stuff that's just as good, but just right below that, to make it more attractive to more people.
College students working on a budget.
And that too.
But it's okay to have a couple price points too.
Mm.
You know, you have your campus price point, and then maybe you have your commercial price point.
Mm.
It's not a bad thing to be, you know, be more, cost more, because you've got a quality product.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Now,